Welcome back to the non-league treatment room with me, Cookie. As always, Davo is alongside me. You good, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. Are you?
Good, yeah. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoy this episode. It's another really good episode that we've got going on, and we can't wait to speak to this guest and get his story of non-league football and also going into the professional game as well.
Yeah.
As always, if you're watching, please subscribe, like, and all that juicy stuff, and comment, because it really helps us out. And our last episode with Connor Goodger is doing really well, so we are loving every minute of it, and all the support just helps us out massively. If you're listening on audio, make sure you follow, like, give us a rating, because again, it helps us all out. So please, if you can do that, it'd be lovely. Anything from you, David?
I'm a year older.
Oh yeah, happy birthday from last time.
Thank you very much, mate.
Yeah. So let's get our just brush over that.
Yeah.
So let's get our guest in. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
In the treatment room tonight, we hear from someone who's gone from National League North with Leamington to now League One with Shrewsbury. His story is one of hard work, determination, and seizing the opportunity. Please welcome Cally Stewart.
How are you, Cally?
Yeah, absolutely delighted to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Superb.
It's good to have you, mate. Obviously, we've been having a nice little chat before and getting to know you. I've watched you play once, and I saw you score 2 goals. Spennymoor it was, at home.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been away, mate. You wouldn't have travelled all the way up there.
Because I come and did the commentary with Sean.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And I saw you score 2 goals. I think one was a penalty, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was second game of the season.
Yeah. And George Ward scored the third one.
Ward, yeah.
Because I thought it was Ewan, and I went, Ewan!
Yes, you did.
I went, William!
Everyone mixes them up.
They are so alike. Honestly, if you see them, they are very alike.
Are they?
Yeah, massive. And they even like the build and how they play is very, very similar.
Yeah.
But
and how thick they are as well.
But yeah, that's why I saw you score 2 goals, and
2 of many that season, weren't
2
it?
of many, definitely. Yeah. Because that was.
Go on, here's your stats. Go on.
That would have been step 3, wouldn't it?
No, it was the start of this year.
Was it?
Start of this season, yeah.
God, that felt like ages ago. I'm
Yeah.
sorry there. I've done you a disservice there. Sorry. I thought that was before that. Wow. Yeah.
That's all right, mate. Long old season, isn't it?
It's a long old season. What month are we in? How are you doing anyway? You good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just settling into life as a full-time footballer. Still feels a bit surreal to say, but getting there slowly.
Yeah. It's obviously a massive change, isn't it? It's a massive change in your life and your day to day, isn't it? It's completely different, but we are going to get onto that a little bit more later and dive into that. But I'll sort of start with, where were like your first steps into football? Where were those?
Well, as like a kid.
Yeah, kid
well,
or
to be fair,
teenager.
I started off at Leamington when I was 6, 7. That was my first kind of experience, just playing with my mates. And then it went full circle. And that's kind of where I made even more of a name for myself than I did at Sphinx. So it was Leamington, and then just other kind of local teams growing up, and then played at the rugby academy kind of college scholarship program. It was a youth team there. That was unbelievable. 2 years there. We went FA Youth Cup first round, did unbelievable in the league and the kind of under-19 National Cup. So some great experiences there. And then that was kind of cut short because of lockdown, but that was kind of when I was breaking into men's football as well. Had a couple clubs, well, I won't say clubs because I was only playing maybe 1 or 2 games before the season was completely cut short, and then moved on. After lockdown, that's when I really kicked on in men's football. That's when I signed for Sphinx, made my name there, had 2 unbelievable years there. Moved on to Leamington, and now that's where I am now at Shrewsbury.
Yeah, it's a nice little.
So it's a different journey.
It is a different journey.
So when you say you were at rugby, was that? Am I wrong in saying? Is it Strachan you were at, or was it?
No, it was the other one.
Oh, okay.
So it was Rugby Town.
Yeah.
But now they've moved to Rugby Borough.
Okay.
Because Strachan have done their own kind of thing.
So was that based at Kilsby Lane? or was it not?
No, Butler Road.
Oh,
Butler
okay.
Road, Rugby Town, yeah.
And was that a tough standard for you, playing at that level at such a young age, do you feel? Like, because I take it you were doing your qualifications as well as playing football, or...
Yeah, so it was kind of like it is the same as Strachan,
Yeah.
but just a different thing.
Right.
So I trained with the first team a couple of times,
Okay.
and I did pre-season, but the gaffer didn't want me. Moving on from that,
Yeah.
and then I went to, where did I go to after that? So I was playing the under-18s, but it was important for me to kind of get men's football experience. So I went to G&P Sports after that. That was my first.
Of course, yeah.
That was my first ever club, and I got dragged in my first start. Dragged at half time, absolutely bollocked. And then on the Tuesday night, left out the squad, and he brought a goalkeeper on up front on the Tuesday night. So
Was that so G&P that I remember, because we played against them it was Sham,
yes,
and it was
Sham,
my mate
yeah.
Winnie,
Oh, was
Paul
it?
Wynn. Was assistant manager.
Yeah, it was them two. Yeah,
Yeah. And where did they play?
they played at Sphinx.
Yeah.
They played at Sphinx. Yeah, so it was.
That's mad. That is like
That is
some of the things you
crazy.
find out. But it's how was that taste of the sort of the non-league, the men's football for you in those early days as like a teenager?
It was good because the coaches I had at the kind of college and the rugby borough were unbelievable. So I had Liam O'Neill and Will Grocott and Scott Dutton. They're all like three unbelievable characters and coaches, not just in non-league, but they've had stints in the pro game as well. So I was getting the kind of technical detail and tactical detail from them on a day-to-day basis, and then training with men. And let's be honest, it was step 6, step 7. The standard wasn't great, but it was men's football. It was the experience that I needed, and I was just getting kicked. And non-league, it's brilliant, and that's combining the two was just, it helped me a lot.
Those little things though, like learning how to take a kick, learning
Yeah.
how to, someone mouthing off at you, or those elbows, or running onto those long ball games, things like that. They all they work towards building you to something, don't they?
Well, this-
They all
Yeah,
they all play a factor, don't they?
This is what we find out, isn't it? We've never had a guest on, I don't feel, that's not been involved in the non-league game, and they're saying how important it is to, in a way, get booted.
Yeah, it is character building. It is.
Massively.
At 17, 18, 19, non-league was tough for me because I'm a small lad, I'm a skinny lad, and there was a lot of clubs around the area that didn't want me because I was too small, too slight. And then someone gave me a chance and I kicked on. That was that. And it wasn't all goals and league titles. It was, no, Callum, you're not good enough. You're getting dragged. I was finding it tough because I was so off the pace, if you know what I mean, against a lot bigger lads. And when you're not up to the level, and because non-league is so back to front, and you have to learn to use your body, and I didn't know how to use my body at this stage because the coaches and players that I'd played with growing up, it was a bit more technical and to feet. So
Ball on the floor.
so it was all, you do doubt yourself sometimes. I was there getting dragged at half time in step 7. That's tough, you know what I mean? You're there wanting to progress and thinking, I want to be a professional footballer, but I'm 7 leagues off the pyramid and I'm not good enough. I'm getting dragged at half time.
Was that always the goal for you? Was there ever a stage where you were just playing because you were, like you said at the start, you were playing with your mates and stuff like that, or did you always have that drive to go, I want to kick on and be a professional?
Yeah, I always had that goal.
Yeah.
Always, from a young age. And even just growing up, I think being rejected by academies and clubs, that it makes you want it more. And that's what's helped me in non-league as well, being rejected by men's football, teams rejecting me, is I've had it by being said no from academies, if that makes sense. So it all swings and roundabouts
Full circle now, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Did you have to learn to adapt your game then in non-league to go, hold on, I need to find a way then to make a difference and score goals or assists or to beat that player, or that I'm coming up against a centre half who's massive, you know, probably got 10 years experience on me. Did you have to find and go, let me adapt a little bit here then, or let me tell my teammates what I want in terms of a ball in behind sort of thing?
Yeah, you do have to adapt 100%, I think. And I think I probably only learnt that when I was at Sphinx. And the main thing I always say, and my dad's always said, is when you're breaking into men's football, it's just about playing. No matter the standard, just make sure you're playing, because that's the only way you're going to improve and become better players, by playing week in, week out, no matter the standard.
So it's good that you've said that, actually. So let's move on to Sphinx. So
Great club, Sphinx.
Unbelievable club.
Great club.
Great,
Yeah.
like they're always up there, aren't they? And like they've always got some really good players. Like Eggy played for them.
Yeah, Tugger.
And Tugger, and I know Callum Woodward who played for them.
Yeah, Adam Bilic.
Yeah, Bilic.
Yeah.
Who else? There's got to be more who I know who play for Sphinx.
Ryan Harkin.
Ryan
I know he's here
Harkin.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's here
Ryan
now.
Harkin,
so-
yeah, he
Yeah.
was. It's always like good little setup as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
it's-
good.
It's Dave. I actually went to watch him last night,
Did ya?
and like the ground is improved massively. Like
Really?
they've done so much work to it. It's unbelievable.
It's nice to see that, isn't it, when grounds are improving. And the
So
infrastructure.
how did that move come about then, Cally? So obviously the managers at the time were Sean Thomas and John Woodward, right?
Yeah.
So how did that Sphinx move come about then?
It was kind of like two ways, if that makes sense. So my mate was there that I was at the kind of college with,
Yeah.
and he had asked them if I could come in and train because I didn't have a club. And they were like, yeah, you can come in. And I didn't really think anything of it. But then I was at Kenilworth just before lockdown, Kenilworth Sporting. And just after lockdown, they started training. I think we trained like from like March, because the season finished, didn't it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we trained from March all the way through, like as a pre-season, if that makes sense. So we had a game against Copswood, and I remember it because I was working at Asda at the time, and I had done a shift from 3 till 12, had no sleep, and this was like, I was still nervous playing men's football at this point against Coventry Copswood. And I was thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna get kicked all over the place. I've not had any sleep, and then I've played, and Tomo and Jim were watching. I've played well, and they've gone, who's that, number 11 or whatever, and they saw my name. They were like, oh, MJ's asked if he can come training, and then they just said, MJ, right, bring him in Monday, or not Monday, but Tuesday, and we'll see how he gets on, sort of thing.
Well, you definitely made an impact there, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think I've got this right. 40 goals in 44 games. Is that one of the seasons you had there?
Yeah.
Was that your promotion winning season?
I'm not sure. I had 2 seasons there, and I scored 40 goals in both seasons. So,
Cally, this is going to be a stupid question here. Right. Would you say that you've scored more goals than you had appearances?
nah, not
No.
quite. Not
Are you
quite.
close?
I saw Leamington, I think you made 74 appearances and scored 37 goals.
Yeah, and I think Sphinx was 80 in 88 games.
That's a joke, by the way.
That's some record, isn't it?
So it's
That ain't bad.
Yeah, it's not
80
bad.
goals in 88 games, by the way. And what step was that?
Step 5.
So yeah.
You don't see many people doing that now.
No.
You-
Was that where you really felt like you kicked on and went, yeah, I can definitely play at this level?
Yeah, well, it was one of them again, because I was still 18, 19 and hadn't played men's football. And so I think, to be fair, you'd have to ask the managers, but I think at the start, even pre-season, they were still umming and ahhing whether to sign me or not. They signed me, and then I was still on the bench till October so, and then I'd scored 7 goals before I started a game, and then it was only actually after when Harkin left, that's when I kind of kicked on
Yeah.
for the rest of that season. And then I went, after that first season, I went to Leamington pre-season, but I was jumping 3 leagues after only playing 1 season men's football, and me and my dad had a conversation, and we were like, are you going to play? You don't really want to, because I was obviously hot, and my name was hot, and I needed to not just waste the season sitting on the bench, if that made sense.
It's smart.
You know, the gaffer always says, "Oh, you weren't going to sit on the bench," but whether I would or not, it's well, we won't know. But so I went back to Sphinx and just played every minute, every game, and it was a learning season, that one as well, because the first season, I remember the manager saying around Boxing Day, no one knows who you are, but the second season, because I've scored 40 goals and we were top of the league for a lot of the season, you're gonna be targeted, and I was targeted, and it helped me massively, because I was having to deal with taking ball under pressure, people marking me every
like
corner,
marking,
so
following you around.
And were you playing as a number 9 at this point?
Well, we played 3-5-2,
Okay.
so I was either in the 10 or just off the kind of big man up front. Because to be fair, I wouldn't even say I'm a number 9 now still.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. Like I played centre mid and 10 like as a kid growing up. Youth team football as a 10, and then it was only when I went to Sphinx, it was probably because I was a smaller lad and they didn't want me in the middle of the park, that I was just playing off a big man.
Yeah.
And just not a free role, but a little bit of a free role where you're not going to be up against someone all the time.
Third man running.
Exactly.
Just getting on the end of things.
Yeah.
Did you set yourself any goals, like of how many goals you want to score, or any targets or anything like that?
It's weird. The first game I scored, I came on at half time and we were 3-0 up or something against bottom of the league, and I thought, this is my time. Like, even if I only score 1 goal this whole season, you've scored a goal in men's football, and I'd be happy with that. And then came on and scored a hat trick, and then I was like, right, well, I've done 1 goal, so I need to set myself 10 goals or something. Nice. And then I just kept scoring, and then it got to about Christmas, and someone was like, I think it was our centre half, Guesty, was like, mate, you need to set yourself 40 goals. And I was thinking, 40 goals? Let's not be silly. And then I just went on an unbelievable run of just scoring, and then scored 40 goals. And then obviously going back the second season, I was like, well, I can't score any less than 40 if I want to kick on. I'm a year older, year experienced. I'd have another 2 months of playing and starting, so I need to score 40, if not 50, and we wanted to win the league, so that was that.
One thing that you've mentioned a couple of times, and I want to ask you this, is you spoke about your support network, and your dad's got a big role. Would you agree with that? Has he got a big role in sort of your football career? Yeah,
massively. I mean, everyone that knows me knows my dad as well, really. He's comes even now when I'm at Shrewsbury, he's coming to Charlton away and watch me just sit on the bench, you know. And he's always done that, to be fair, no matter where I've been playing. He's always came to watch, he's always given me advice, and he knows football. Like, he coaches the under 14s at Cov, so he's switched on with his football. I take everything in, so he's been massive for me. He's really helped me out.
It's nice having that. Out of those goals for Sphinx, then, any of them stand out as like your favourite? Any like one is like one of those 80 goals like really stand out?
To be fair, I got asked this question when I signed for Shrewsbury, like, have you got a favourite goal you've scored? And I don't score many great goals. I don't. I'm a bit of a fox in the box. So I don't score many screamers. But I've scored, especially, well, I say at Lem and Sphinx, I've scored important goals.
I agree,
more sticking. There was one against, I think it was Rothwell, and we were neck and neck for League Rugby at this point, and I'd had the the shits all morning. And I was like, I can't play. And they were like, come on, just stick Imodium in and just get
Classic Imodium.
Just get on with it. And I was like, all right, had no energy. They were bottom of the league, but they had beaten us on the bank holiday already before, and we were like, we can't lose to these again.
Yeah.
And I think I scored. It was 0-0, and then 88th minute, it dropped to me, and I scored, and that was that. Scored a couple of other important goals, but that one sticks in my mind just because I was so bad, and I was thinking, just drag me, because I felt horrendous, and I wasn't affecting the game. They were screaming at me to do better, and I was thinking, I can't give any more.
It's the worst thing, isn't it, when you're obviously I'm not a player, but especially when like a player's come to you going, oh, I'm really not feeling well, Andy. Like, give me some paracetamol, give me this. I'm like, it ain't gonna do anything. You're not well. Like, they're like, I need to play, and it's like sometimes always though, like it always either goes two ways, doesn't it? They have an absolute stinker, or they score and have an absolute worldie of a game. Yeah, it's like, well, turn up next week unwell, and you can have the same type of effect. But
I'm really interested, Cally, in what you said about you were just like or you are a bit of a fox in the box. Were you taught that, or do you think that that's something that just comes natural?
I think it does just come naturally, and I don't know if it is because of this, but I'd like to think it's because I've watched so much football growing up, and going back to my dad as well. Every Saturday we'd go and watch games somewhere. We'd always be down Leamington, or we season ticket holders at Coventry. Any kind of local football that was on, we'd go and watch. So I think it comes with game understanding. And the fact I've always been playing, I played loads of football, always played Saturday, Sunday, and watched so much football that ultimately you're going to learn where the ball drops. And then once it drops there once, you keep gambling, you keep doing it, and it just happens, I guess.
Yeah. How was the promotion season, like winning a title, like winning promotion with Coventry Sphinx? That's obviously a massive achievement. You know, not everyone gets to experience a promotion. We've experienced one, and it is... You know, we still talk about it to this day, and it's really like happy and proud memories. How was that for you?
Yeah,
like being
brilliant, absolutely unreal.
First one in football,
winning the league. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was men's football. Yeah, it was unbelievable because the team we were up against was rugby, who didn't want me, and then so it was kind of bittersweet for me after them not wanting me to then. Well, I had a big part in winning a league for their rival, because obviously rugby and Coventry Sphinx aren't far apart either. But they were 16 points clear at Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah, but they were 16 points clear, but we had games in hand, and a lot of them were tweeting and thought they'd won the league. And I remember their striker was saying. He tweeted something like 16 points clear and both up top of both leagues, as in the Golden Boot and the league. And then I remember that when we won it, his tweets were stuck all across Sphinx, and everyone was just rinsing him. But it was good.
Can you remember the game that it was that clinched your promotion?
It was the last day.
Whoa, that's
down to the wire. Yeah.
Did you play well in that game?
Yeah, I scored 2. To be fair, we won about 8-1. We battered them, but we weren't. I don't think we were top until about 7 games to go, and it was only about March time where we went top. They started dropping points, and we were just gaining on them, and then I think our only we had about 3 games left, and we had Cov United on Monday, and then a team on the Saturday, and then the final game. And Cov United, they didn't want us to win it.
No, of course not. Rivals, yeah.
And my mate Leo, he scored 98th minute or something like that to win it, 2-1. Absolutely unreal. So then we were like, right, 2 tests left, and the Saturday before. It was weird because the team we were supposed to be playing, their pitch was like flooded underwater. So we played at a completely different stadium. We played at 7:30 on a Saturday night.
What?
Yeah.
What stadium was that?
It was at St Ives.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
It's AstroTurf. So
Yeah.
we were like, right, that's kind of and they weren't a bad team either. They were like mid-table-ish. So we were thinking, if we're gonna fumble it, it could be that one, because he was played at 7:30 on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's a curveball, isn't it?
Yeah, and then I think we went 1-0 down,
Right.
but then we managed to win like 5-1 or something.
Good feeling though, lifting the trophy,
Yeah.
getting a medal and all that. It's memories that live with you, isn't it? It's nice.
Yeah, it is. It's just little things. You just remember little things from the season, and we had some great away trips where on the way back, like that one, obviously on the way back, and you've won, and you've got one game to win the league. It's an unbelievable coach journey back, isn't it?
Yeah, when you're winning games,
Oh, it's brilliant.
you the coach journeys and the little things like that are just so much better, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's massive.
We had nights where we would get back to Sphinx and we'd all just be in the bar still till like 1:30.
That's nice, mate.
It's brilliant.
Not planned either.
Not planned.
Some of the lads will just go, "Do you want another one?"
Yeah.
"Do you want another one?" And then you're there all night.
Or you're just talking, aren't you?
Yeah.
The time gets away from you, don't they? Or
But we speak about this loads, like the changing rooms and stuff like that. And I think I've said it on an episode before. Sometimes it's nice to put away the ball and you can just sit and have a beer with your mates that you play football with.
Yeah.
Get to know them more.
Or
You can have a laugh with them.
It's team bonding at the end of the day. It's you get so close with them because you're seeing them all the time, and
Yeah.
I've always said it. You get so close to your teammates because like around Christmas and that, you sometimes see them more than some of your family.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? When you're playing Boxing Day, and then sometimes the 28th, and then New Year's Day. And then you do have your beers after, and it's Boxing Day, we may as well go out. And then, you know what I mean? So you do bond a lot, and you do get really close to your teammates. But then on the flip side, season finishes, one of them leaves or a couple leave. You never speak to them. Well, you don't speak to them at all sometimes. You know what I
but
mean?
then you can bump into them and go, you can. It's like you've just
like you've never been away.
Like you've never been away.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about some of the memories and that, and even like with us, like when Ross went to Dubai and Adam went to America for a bit, you come back and you go, you just start talking, don't you?
Yeah,
and even
it's
like
like
Tools come out with us on that day.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen Tools for ages. And,
It's like you've never been away.
yeah, definitely.
It's a big commitment, though, isn't it?
I used to hate the Boxing Day fixture. I'm putting it out there. It's family time, I know football is your family, but like, I want to be eating my Boxing Day trifle, mate.
Your cold meat and chips.
Yeah,
The next day.
the bubbly squeak. Not on a football pitch,
Yeah, I get you, mate.
but it's nice when you win.
I suppose it's different for you though because you're literally sitting there freezing your bollocks at that time of year as well.
Yeah.
These lot are all right, they're running around on the pitch staying warm. You're sitting there freezing.
Yeah.
Horrible.
That's the case. But obviously, really high finish at Sphinx, and you do get the move to Leamington. Like you said, you went on pre-season at Leamington, weren't quite ready, went back to Sphinx, and then you go to Leamington 2023, don't you? Like the summer.
Yeah.
Obviously, your local team, local boy. How was that feeling to actually then go, yeah, I'm ready for this? Paul Holleran's been on the phone for me for 4 hours. I'm ready to sign. You know what I mean? How was that?
Asking you what biscuits you like.
Yeah, he still owes me some custard creams, and I know he'll be listening to this, so
Yeah, he will be.
I'll be waiting on them when you're ready. But yeah, to be fair, it was one of them. I probably didn't feel ready the first season with Sphinx, but when I got halfway through, I was feeling right. I'm ready to go to the next level now. So that summer, I was kind of praying and hoping Paul Holleran would ring me again. And then when he did, there was no point in anyone else ringing me. I was going to Leamington, love the club, local club. I was signing, whatever. Unbelievably proud moment for me and my dad as well, because Leamington's a big club. It's a massive club.
Yeah, mate.
And to be fair, if I hadn't kicked on and gone professional, I'd have been happy to stay at Leamington for the rest of my career. It's an unbelievable club. So I was absolutely buzzing when the gaffer rang me and asked me to come back.
Would you say that showing your talent then and your goal scoring form, moving up the levels, was that important to sort of, you've gone up to that next level now? Were you putting any pressure on yourself at all, thinking, right, I've got to come in here, I've got to score goals?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's It's part of my game. It's part of how I made my name, you know. So I went in, and again, I don't think when that first chat with the gaffer came, I don't think either of us thought I'd have as good a season as I did. I was probably coming in as more of a rotational player to then kick on in the second half of the season. But, you know, I mean, I remember Landers, he got injured during pre-season, so I played pretty much the whole pre-season, and I remember the gaffer saying, like, I didn't want you to play this much in pre-season, and wanted to bed you into it, but I was thrown in the deep end. And so it was one of them where I probably set my goals a little bit too low again. I was probably aiming for about 15 goals in step 3, and I thought I can do that and then push on again, because I knew how the gaffer was. I knew he pushed young lads on and kicked young lads on, so that was another big thing.
Yeah, big factor.
Another big factor, 100%. So I probably did underestimate myself a little bit. But then again, it was probably again the same this year, you know, when I was going into step 2, a league I hadn't been in, and you got so much talk about, oh, step 2 is so much different to step 3, and the clubs in step 2 are absolutely unbelievable when you're playing Kidderminster and Scunthorpe and things like that. So I was setting myself goals 100%, and the goals probably just changed as I got more comfortable. Push yourself, had to push myself 100% because no one else is going to do it for you.
Definitely, mate. How obviously we have touched on Paul Holleran, but how was that, describe that relationship with him? Obviously a lot of positives we've had from Paul Holleran. He's been on the podcast as a guest, and we've had former players come on. Obviously we had Conor Goodger last week, who was with Leamington for 5-6 seasons and couldn't speak highly. But what's your relationship with him like?
Yeah, he's an absolute legend, isn't he? I mean, I think I said off air, the first time he rang me, we were on the phone for 45 minutes, and that was just him just being absolutely unbelievable for me, you know. And he's so understanding in the fact that I was still a young lad and I was coming through. I would be a little bit nervous, and he understood all of that. And to be fair, I still speak to him now. He rang me last week asking how I'm getting on. Told me just to stay patient, because it was a little bit similar to when I jumped from Sphinx to Leamington and Leamington Shrewsbury. I was jumping the leagues, but I had to be patient. He knows I had to be patient, so he's been unbelievable for me.
Yeah.
You don't get many people like Oogie.
No, you don't.
You know what I was thinking the other day? Like, would he make a great like director of football or like a scout? You know, like with the players he's got, and he can just like see something in someone. It'd be great to have. Like, he's a great manager, and he obviously knows his football, but he could like make it like that could be his second thing. Like, he could be like a scout, couldn't he?
It's clear to see by all the guests that we've had that his relationship building is incredible.
Yeah. And
his man management is incredible. So that, you know, I think you bang on right. I think there's so many roles that could suit Oogie in football. There's so many.
There's so many clubs
like,
that would benefit from
like,
him as well.
You can even, you know, as silly as it sounds, you can have him as a meter and greeter on the front of the door. He just knows what to say, doesn't he?
I don't think that would work, because they wouldn't see the first half.
Won't get past the first person coming through the door.
He just knows how to talk to people, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I said to you off air, didn't I? That was the first time I met Oogie, when we had him on the podcast, and I'd heard so much about him. And when I was talking to him, I felt like I'd knew him for years.
Yeah, I said on the radio the other week, everything you hear about him is true. When you meet him and you speak to him, he's just unbelievable.
I can't imagine him giving him a bollocking to someone.
I can.
Really?
He can.
I imagine it like he'd just be like that father role that'd just be like,
put your
I'm
arm
not
around.
angry, I'm really disappointed, and I'll just be there like, sorry. Like that's how he comes across to me, though. But you're saying categorically he can give a bollocking.
He can.
Yeah.
And because I obviously grew up watching Leamington as well, and I've seen him on the sidelines screaming at his players and effing this, effing that, and I thought, all right, you know, I need to be on my best behaviour sort of thing. And then, to be fair, I think he's toned it down a little bit, but there was still instances last season where he's kicking bins and throwing tables.
You've got to,
You've got to, yeah, because. But it's one of them, you respect him so much that when he does give you a bollocking, you just have to take it because of what he's done in the game as well. 9 times out of 10 he's right.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to take it, and you know, don't get me wrong, he knows who to give a bollocking to.
Yeah.
And
Man management.
you know. I remember one time we played Stourbridge away last year, and I was having an absolute stinker. We were going through a bit of a rough time. It was getting really close to the playoffs. We needed the points. I think we were 1-0 down, and I gave the ball away just before half time. I was on the opposite side of the pitch, and he's gone, Adam, the skipper. He's gone, tell that little prick. And then walks gone, Cally. I was like, I heard him. You don't have to tell me.
I love the fact that Walks has passed it on there.
Yeah.
Like, some players go, yeah, Gaff, I will, and then don't say anything. And
Well,
he's just gone,
yeah.
I'll say, Cally.
Walks was like, I had to say it. I was like, I heard him.
Standards though, isn't it? And it's good habits.
Yeah, it is.
And that's, you know, something that you can't coach.
Yeah.
You know?
Because he said that he's done that on the pitch, but then at half time he has came in and put his arm around me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And he knows the likes of Jack Edwards. He can give a bollocking to Jack Edwards, and he might give a bollocking to Jack Edwards to get the rest of the team going.
Yeah.
But then the rest of, you know, we've got quiet players. Like, there was literally one instance last season, Dan Meredith,
The right back,
unbelievable player,
Yeah,
unbelievable
people
lad.
said that.
But he's quiet. He's a very quiet lad, and he's thrown the ball back to Jack, and it was probably Jack's fault, and he gave a bollocking at Jack instead of Dan. You know what I mean? And
He's picked his
picked his battles, but deep down, Dan knew, right, I need to step up here because it was my fault. So it is brilliant.
Yeah, fair play. Obviously scoring goals at step 3. Did you think, this is going well for me here?
Did you hit your targets? Yeah.
Yeah. I think you got 22 in step 3.
Well, I thought it was 24,
Ooh,
but
okay.
Max, the media man, he'd said it was 22, but I don't know where we've lost 2 goals. But yeah, I mean, there was, because of the gaffer's record moving lads on, there was talk again last season. There was clubs watching me.
Did you feel pressured when you heard that?
How do you deal with that?
Not really, to be fair. I think you kind of get used to it quickly, because it was one of them, they come and watch, and it's not just one club that come and watch. You know, when you're scoring goals and you're doing well, there's loads of different clubs and there's loads of talk. But then you've just got to realise it is just talk until something happens.
Yeah.
And I think I learnt that from a young age. Like, there was always Coventry scouts or Villa scouts watching me or talking to my dad and all that, and then you get excited for nothing to come of it. So I think I learnt that from a young age, and you just get used to it. Like, I think I probably, when the gaffer told me there was a bit of interest last year, because it's obviously pro clubs, and I'm like, oh God, and you probably do feel a little pressure for the first game. Then you realise they've been watching you the whole season, and they will watch you. They don't just watch one game, they watch 8-9 games, so it doesn't really matter. And then
that's the thing with media and stuff
Yeah,
now.
it's
Do you know what I mean?
crazy.
All your games are getting recorded. It's a click of a button, isn't it?
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? They can watch all your highlights. They can watch everything.
Yeah, it's different, isn't it? But the obviously promotion push, playoff win against AFC Telford, who are a massive club. Obviously, our Ewan Williams
Eugene.
getting
oh, mate Willow.
getting the winner. How did you play in that? Firstly, did you play well in that playoff final? It was
In the
tough,
final?
yeah. It was only a 1-0 win, weren't it? So it was
Yeah. No, I did. I felt like I played well in the final,
Yeah.
which I was happy with, because it was my first playoff final and it was a big occasion. And the semi, I was absolutely I was so nervous, like unbelievably nervous. It was at home to Redditch. That was probably the most nervous I've ever been in a game. Did all right. The game wasn't great against Redditch, to be fair. No one really stood out, but you know, we got through it, which a lot happens a lot in the playoff. They're just one-on moments. So I was a little bit disappointed, because I knew it was a big stage for me as well. There would be people watching. Then the playoff, I don't know what it was about the final. Woke up, good feeling. Knew we were going to win. Wasn't nervous. Played well. The whole team was absolutely brilliant as well, which we had to be, because we played them 6 weeks before and we got battered. It was only 1-0, but we were so far off it, and they bopped us off the park. So we went there gritting our teeth, and we knew we had to perform, and we did.
Yeah, that's it.
Sometimes that's the best thing to happen, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where you know you've got them in the playoff final, or in a final, or a big game towards the end of a season. Sometimes it's okay to lose that game earlier in the season, because it gives you that bit between the teeth, doesn't it? To go, right, we can't. And the little things that happen in or after games where they've got the music on really loud in the changing room and they're banging the walls, and you just think, right, listen, we've got to come back again. Do you know what I mean? One thing I wanted to ask you is, sorry, Cookie, when you walk off a pitch, Cally, and you've played a game and you've not scored a goal, are you disappointed? So you said in the playoff final you played really well, but obviously not. Strikers aren't always known for goals. That would be a silly thing to say, but they're judged on scoring goals, aren't they? So when you say I played really well, but when you've not scored, does that affect you at all?
No, not if I've played well. If I've played well, I've played well, and it doesn't matter if you score. If you've played well and the team's played well and you won the game, I'm happy.
How relieved were when you saw the goal go in? I did re-watch it, and you chased after Eugene and jumped on top of him and pounced on him, didn't you? You had no chance to celebrate, because you absolutely like power drived him to the floor.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I was buzzing. Well, obviously because we'd gone ahead, and that's my local team, my club.
Yeah.
We're winning the playoff, but then my mate to do it as well. And then it was a bad celebration from him, though, weren't it? He just, me, Landers, and you, and like we were like a little group last year, and then we got Wardy in it this year as well. But so we had planned, well, not planned, but we were like, what are we doing like if we score? And we were like knee sliding, jump into the crowd. That's just what you got to do. It's a playoff final, and then he just kept running, and then didn't go anywhere near the crowd. Which he just got excited, didn't he? But it was absolutely unreal. And then, to be fair, the first two there were me and Landers, and it was you, and then it was a great moment.
I think sometimes though, when you score a goal,
you don't know what to do.
You are uncontrollable, depending on how the goal is.
So I'm like that. Everyone's like, "Have you got a celebration?" But I just get too excited, let alone doing it in a playoff final. Like,
when we've spoke to strikers and stuff, Cally, before, I think I asked this way back in like season 1. I suppose it defines strikers in a way, but I always had this thing, and I say this every week, but I was nowhere near as good as you. But sometimes when I went through on goal, it's really hard to keep composure, and like you not panic, but it's like the things are going through your head. You're thinking
of the celebration before you score.
Sometimes I remember I did a really embarrassing thing once in a college game. And I used to love Carlos Tevez. And can you remember when he got a dummy out and put it in his mouth?
Yeah.
I went to the shop and I brought a dummy.
Oh God, you haven't.
I did. I went to the shop. I was only 16, 17. I went to the shop and I brought a dummy, and I tied it in my the knot in my shorts. And I swear to God,
that's bad. That
is bad. That dummy did not come out for the rest of the season. I did not score one goal, not one. Because I think it was in my head all the time.
Oh, so you didn't actually get to do the celebration?
No, I was terrible, mate. I was horrendous.
That's brilliant.
But little things like that, like it gets me. Like the composure, like when we see your stats, 22 goals, 40-something goals, and this is why I think it's really hard for him to pick his favourite goal, because he's got to remember all the fuckers. Do you know what I mean?
It does.
It's composed. I think like it's not. You can't coach that, can you? I don't feel. I really don't.
But it does just come with experience and getting in the areas, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
How was that then, obviously, getting the club back to National League North, and obviously a chance for you to step up to the National League North? How was that for you, obviously, your local team as well? Nice feeling?
Yeah, unbelievable feeling, unbelievable day. It's a club that should be in the National League North. Just purely because they're brilliant, and it's such an honest club as well. It's not like, well, Leamington's one of them clubs where we're spending loads of money week in, week out, buying the best players from all over. We're not one of them clubs. It's built on hard work and young lads coming up, and the likes of Jack Edwards staying there for years and years. You know, so the club deserve that 100%.
Yeah, it's class to see.
What advice would you give to aspiring footballers then, Cally, that are like sort of following in your footsteps, particularly those coming from non-league backgrounds? Because your story is not what I expected it to be. I expected you to say, I was at this academy, but you weren't.
No.
You've literally came from, you know, GMP, step 7, step 6, to where you are now. So what advice would you give the younger players of today?
It's a tough one, because one, you've always got to back yourself. I think the main thing is playing. You have to play every week. You know, there's no point if you're 18, 19 and you're just sitting on the bench. You're not going to make a name for yourself, and you're not going to learn the trade in men's football, I think. So in terms of a non-league young aspiring footballer, you need to play. I think that's the bottom line.
That's been a big key, hasn't it? A lot of people said that, like game time.
Yeah, like when even you look at Ewan, he was here, 16, 17, he's played all the way up. Even now he's 21. Like, that's why he understands the game so well. Like, he doesn't play like a 21-year-old. He understands the game because he's played. He's probably played over 100 games. I've played over 100 games in men's football because Gaffer's given you a chance. And I think you learn from playing. You don't learn from just training and watching. The main thing is when you're chucked in the deep end and, you know, you're 1-0 up and you need the points because it is people's livelihood. You know, people need to be paid. You don't understand that when you're younger, but when you've got people with families and kids and that money on the side is massive for them and they need it, the points matter. And so you learn from little things on the pitch, I'd say.
I think that you've shown so much resilience as well.
100%.
Because obviously at the early ages when you said clubs turned you away, you've had stinkers, you've been on the bench. I think it's so easy, and we've openly spoke about it, that it was Gudge that said it last week as well. You know, sometimes the kids growing up now can be soft. And they chuck it, they chuck the towel in and they go, you know, I don't want to play football anymore. But you've shown so much resilience, haven't you, just to keep grafting. Yeah. But also, in the same sense, things are falling into place for you really nicely, like playing for your local town club. You know, that's really nice, isn't it? It's a great feeling. It's great. I feel. Yeah.
You can't beat that, can you? Like,
no.
I think like you get, even from like last week with Good, like you got that sense of pride, and
it's a dream for so many people, and to want to play for your hometown club.
And that's the thing with Leamington as well. There's not been many, even though we're quite, well, I'd probably say we're a bit of a bigger town than Aveston in terms of like location and that, but there's not been many that have broke through into the first team and made a name for themselves. Not that I can remember. There might be one or two, but I can't remember many.
No, it's class. Obviously, lighting up non-league, enjoying your football with Leamington, getting them promoted to National League North. Obviously, you mentioned a lot of talk of clubs around and stuff, which come to the January transfer window just gone. You do get a move, and you do make that step up to signs for Shrewsbury Town, which is again a massive club, a lot of history, a lot of really top quality players there. Describe that sort of feeling and the phone calls, the decisions that you sort of had to make to get that sort of. How was that all for you?
It was a little bit overwhelming, to be fair, because it happened really, really quick. You know, there was, well, I mean, that's when I'm lucky that I was with Paul Holleran as well, because he sorted pretty much everything, and there was no pressure on me for probably the first 10, 12 days of the window, there was just talks in the background that he was dealing with. And then it got to the crunch time, and he kind of just said, right, you might want to think about handing in your notice. And so I did, handed my notice in on the Monday because 2 clubs had made official bid. There was other clubs, just talks as well, but I said to my manager, I was like, listen, there's been 2 clubs, I'll be going somewhere.
Is this your work? This is your
This
day,
is
your
my
day
work,
job, yeah.
my work, yeah.
This is surreal, isn't it? I'm trying to picture like what it'd be like, but I just can't.
Walking in with like your bit of paper going, I'm putting my notice in.
Well, to be fair, I was a little bit nervous because I knew I wouldn't be able to work my notice period, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
So I thought, but to be fair, I shouldn't have been because my manager was ledge. And to be fair, he'd come and watch me at Leamington. So like, and when I handed it in, he said, I knew it was coming, you know. And so he was ledge, and I was a little bit nervous because I thought, oh God, like, I'm not going to be able to work the notice period, and they might kick off, and like, what if I have to work this notice and the club doesn't want me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it was all right. And then so that was on the Monday. The Tuesday night, Leamington did play Chester. I obviously didn't play because I had the medical on the Wednesday. So Tuesday, it was just call after call with agent, gaffer, the director at Shrewsbury, my dad, because I was still at work.
Yeah.
And then, had the medical Wednesday, passed the medical. Thursday, got there, and he was like, "Have you got your boots? Because you're going to be in the squad." And I was like, "Wow." Got Wrexham Thursday night. Like,
Wow.
That's incredible.
does not get any bigger.
No.
Because I was supposed to train on the Wednesday after the medical, but the medical just took a little bit longer and I didn't get to train. And I left on the Wednesday, and they were like, listen, you probably won't make it in the squad. We probably won't get you signed on in time, blah, blah, blah. Got there Thursday, bought my boots just in case.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was literally leaving. Then I was like, probably should just take the boots just in case, see what happens. Got there, and he was like, right, yeah, you're in the squad. Have you got your boots? And he said, you better go call your dad.
Yeah.
And then Wrexham Thursday night at home was absolutely unbelievable.
Well, you just want to settle yourself in, wouldn't you? With
Yeah, I know, but
because it's a derby, right?
yeah, derby,
Yeah,
Shrewsbury Wrexham derby.
And they don't come any bigger because obviously Wrexham are in that league, probably in you know, football in the UK. They're one of the most talked about clubs.
Yeah.
You know, they've got their own documentary on Netflix. You really get to dig your nose into Wrexham properly and see what it's like there. That's pressure, man.
Yeah, it was crazy because in kind of the best respects to Leamington, we were only getting 700-800 fans at home. And I've gone and played in front of 9. Well, I didn't play, but there was 9.5, 10,000 there. Like, it was a sellout. The Wrexham fans were brilliant. The Shrewsbury fans were even better. And like, it was just so loud. And like, I was thinking, oh my God, this is crazy. And then obviously we've gone 1-0 up. They've scored 2 on us. And then I was thinking, just throw me on. Just throw me on like last 10. Just give me last 10 so I can experience it. And then he'd made all the subs, and then there was 1 sub left, and I was thinking, go on, put it on. And then
Keep running past him to warm up.
Yeah, left back went down with cramp, and I was like, oh, gutted. But didn't come on, but like, it was unbelievable to be a part of. Don't get me wrong, it was absolutely surreal.
Were you sitting when you were in that position? Because I'm trying to put myself in your shoes here, and obviously you've already said there's all this noise going on around you. Were you still looking at the game and thinking? And sort of planning and like going, right, I know that I'm probably quicker than this centre half. You know, was that going through your mind?
A little bit. It does kind of subconsciously happen where you think, I can get in there, or if I come on, which centre half do you want to come up against, him or him, sort of thing. And to be fair, I actually went to warm up when we scored our first, and I was right in front of like the home, not the home stand, but where all the noise is, basically.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I just looked left and went absolutely crazy. And I was like, that is mental. That is mental.
Nice feeling, isn't it? It's like
Experiences that
experience,
for
isn't it?
life,
Yeah.
mate.
Honestly, it was, because then on the Friday I had to go back into work, and finish my notice off.
No way.
Yeah. So it was like Thursday night, Wrexham on Sky Sports. Friday morning, you're in work.
Back in the office.
Back in the office, yeah.
Come down. Bet you're like buzzing though, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I was just like,
no work getting done today on
oh
Friday.
yeah, it was there was no work getting done anyway, but
I was going to sleep, mate.
No, because it was Thursday night, we had Friday, Saturday, Sunday off.
Right.
So we actually trained, like the lads that didn't come on and the lads that weren't in the squad trained after on the pitch.
Okay.
So I didn't get home till like 1:30, and then I was up at 7, and I was just there training. I was just like, wow.
Yeah, I do hear that a lot though. I think when I listen to like Ben Foster and that, they say like the night games, like you can struggle to sleep.
Oh yeah,
because of the adrenaline flowing and stuff, and like you can go home and you can just be wide awake, going like thinking about the game and just the adrenaline going. And it's like it's a bit mad. Yeah.
Even as a coach, I struggle to sleep, and obviously our games are all midweek. If we're playing away, we've played away at Wolverhampton, which is a journey for us. I'll drive home, I'll be fine on the drive home, and then I'll lie there in bed and the game will just be replaying through my head. And it's just like
it's one hard. Of them, because you're yawning in bed, you're absolutely knackered, but you're just wide awake. And it was even worse obviously when I was at work and you're there Tuesday night, you're looking at the clock every 10 minutes, like, oh my god, 3:45, got to be up in 3 hours, you know what I mean? And you just say, oh, right, I need sleep, and then you're just dragging yourself through the Wednesday. It's horrible. It is horrible, but
well, not anymore, son.
Yeah, it's all right now. I get the day off on a Wednesday. I don't care if I get to sleep or not.
Yeah. How's it been with like Gareth Ainsworth? Obviously, a massive name in football. He's had success at like Wycombe and other clubs, and obviously seems like a really like nice, genuine guy. Like when you see him on like the telly or like interviews and stuff like that, he just seems like a proper nice, sound guy. How's it been with him?
Yeah, brilliant. He's an absolute legend of a coach. He's just so positive all the time, and like the first time I spoke to him, I knew I'd take to him and I knew I'd like him. But not just him, to be fair, everyone at the club, like his assistant Dobbo, they're all brilliant and they're all pulling in the right direction. I know we're in the relegation zone, but it's a club with real positive and real ambition. He's been absolutely brilliant for me.
How are you finding training and adapting to the professional game, Cally?
Yeah, I've adapted probably better than I thought I would. Okay. I think, to be fair, I've probably been lucky with our schedule and the fact we've had a lot of Saturday, Tuesday, so the training's not been as intense. The first week it was intense because we had it was the Thursday night game and then not playing till the Saturday, so we came in Monday, intense obviously session, and then intense gym session after, same on the Tuesday, woke up Wednesday, couldn't feel my legs, and then Thursday, Friday, again just training, gym. But then when it is Saturday, Tuesday, it's a light session on a Monday. Tuesday, you're travelling up to the game, you may stay over or whatever. And then you get the Wednesday off anyway. Thursday, lads are still finding their legs. And then Friday is, again, a light kind of session because you got a game on the Saturday. So I've been lucky where I've kind of been eased into it a little bit because of the schedule. But yeah, I feel good in training. I feel sharp, and my legs feel all right. So,
well, you're young as well, aren't you? You're getting stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
You're doing the right things, which is all part of it, isn't it? And obviously, don't forget you would have been doing them sort of intense sessions and gym sessions at Leamington as well, probably.
And in his the education side as well, you train loads of times, don't you? And you're out on the grass all the time.
Yeah. How's like the? You had to do an initiation.
Oh yeah.
Yes, had to do it at who did we play? It was Charlton away, and we stayed in a hotel.
With a small club.
Stayed in a hotel Friday night before a Saturday game, which I'd never done before. Yeah. So already I was like, oh my god, this is crazy.
What's coming.
Yeah, I knew what was coming. But then, to be fair, I got there, and to be fair, they weren't too bothered if I did it or not. Okay. They were like, you can do it, or like, you don't have to. There was no pressure on me, but I was like, nah, I'll do it. Like, you've got to do one, ain't you? I just think you have to get it over and done with. No one really, like, I'm not a good singer. No one's really a good singer.
You pick a song everyone can join.
You're doing it for a laugh. So
It's a good team bonding.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a little bit of character building, isn't it? You know.
Well, normally it's a big fine if you don't do it, and you don't want to get a fine early doors. No chance. Am I right to go on to this one, Cookie?
Yeah, go for it.
So we've got a question from a listener, Cally. So shout out to the Real 77. Thank you for bringing in your question. So he's asked what it was like joining at the same time as Ricardo. So that would be Ricardo Denanga. Both similar age, both played Step 3 last year, and both played in the playoff final. So how have you found the jumping levels?
And sort of, and with him.
Yeah, no, he's a lovely lad. He's to be fair, it's made my kind of introduction a lot easier as well, because I think he signed literally like 4 days after me, so I was only there kind of a day or two before, and like we sit next to each other in the change room, and it was nice to have a new lad on the same journey, really. It was similar journeys. He's came up through. We've both got to be patient, but it's nice to be able to speak to him, and any worries either of us have got, we speak to each other, and you know, we're doing the gym together, and you know, I might be saying, oh, my legs are feeling heavy today, and he's like, yeah, I'm the same, but everyone else is fine. So it just means I'm not alone, and it's good. And it was good that I could kind of tease him about the playoff final winning.
Yeah, I was going to say you played against him.
Bit of an icebreaker there, so it was nice. Yeah, it was good.
Nice. Making your debut though, coming off. Obviously, you haven't started a game yet, but I'm sure that will come.
Yeah.
But you've obviously made appearances off the bench, and that. How was that? You know, coming on for the first time, seeing your name being announced out, obviously wearing the Shrewsbury shirt with your name on the back and all that. Obviously, your dad would have been in the crowd probably.
Yeah.
You know, how was that for you? Obviously.
Yeah, it was an unbelievably proud moment for me, because that's what I've been working for since I was walking. You know what I mean? It was something that I've dreamt about and wanted for ages, and you know, you see other lads that you've played with or played against doing it, and you just think, oh, am I going to get my opportunity? And I did, and it was absolutely unreal. But then, to be fair, when you're out there, it's just another game. It really is. You know, the first minute or so, you're thinking, oh my God, and then suddenly the ball's coming into you. You're getting smashed by centre halves, you got someone up your arse, and you've got to pass the ball off. It doesn't matter whether you're playing for Coventry Sphinx in front of 50 fans, or you're at, I think it was Stockport, in front of 7,000-8,000. It doesn't matter, because when you're on the pitch, you know, there's 2 goals, and that's that.
Brilliantly
Great
answered.
way to look. Yeah,
Brilliantly
great way
answered.
to look at it. It is that you want to step over that white line. You know, everyone's got a job to do, ain't they?
Yeah.
It's.
I think it's hard for us to sit here and picture it.
Yeah, you are
but
trying to picture it. Yeah.
When you're in the moment, I feel like, you know,
you've got no other option but to get on with it. You know what I mean?
You become accustomed to it, I suppose, don't you? You've worked. That's what you've got to remember. I feel, how hard have I worked to get to here? You know, and like you said, back yourself. I've worked really hard to get here. Here's my chance. And you know, I think just keep enjoying it.
Yeah, 100%.
It's all about, isn't it?
That's what I mean, because it still hasn't sunk in yet. You know what I mean? Because it happened so quick. 1 week I was it was the same week I was working, and I'm a full-time footballer, and that was that. Like, it happened so quick, and because of how intense weeks are and how many games we've got, and because we're always training, I've not had a time to think, oh my God, like I'm professional football. You've just got to get on with it. You just have to get on with it. And, you know, you can get all the advice you want and the congratulations you want. But like I said, there's no one out there to hold your hand once you're on that pitch. You just have to dig deep in yourself, back yourself, and do what you've been doing. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's still a football game. Do what I've been doing when I was playing for Sphinx. You know, don't just pass the ball if there's a shot on. Take the shot, be brave. And I think that's what I've kind of, my journey's taught me as well, because I've had them jumps and I've experienced it now, so I know what I need to do to get myself going and get myself into the starting 11.
I think Shrewsbury fans, if you're listening, you should be very excited.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
And I think, like you said, it'll definitely come.
I think so, mate.
And I think as soon as you net that first goal,
I can't wait, mate.
flying.
Honestly, I can't wait. I'll keep looking on my flash scores. I can't wait for it.
Definitely.
I hope it's a big one as well.
Yeah.
Well, like a screamer. He said
never scored a
Watch him score like a
screamer.
30-yard thinger.
Just a really important one because you got some big games coming up.
Games, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's I really do pray that you score a really big important goal and you get Shrewsbury where they need to be.
Definitely.
Hopefully that's the plan.
Definitely. Perfect way to end on some quick fires, I feel.
Yeah. Favourite bit.
I'll kick off.
Yeah.
You already know what's coming.
Yeah, you didn't like this one.
You didn't like this one. Best player you've played with. And you can name a couple if you want.
Yeah, we always allow
a couple.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because obviously there's big names at Shrewsbury, you know, the likes of Jordan Shipley and John Marquis and that. But I wouldn't say I've really played with them yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We can keep it strictly non-league.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a non-league podcast. We'll go non-league.
Yeah.
There's a couple at you know, the likes of Henry Landers, Adam Walker, Theo Street had unbelievable careers. Then you've got the likes of Wardy and Ewan who may become better, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
that they've got
absolutely,
the potential to become the best players I've played with. But even the likes of like Callum Woodward when I was at Sphinx, unbelievable captain, and he taught me so much and guided me through games because he had played at a higher level, but he was just dropping down when I was going up. So yeah, there is a couple.
Okay.
Sorry if I've missed any.
No,
There's defo someone listening thinking,
I was waiting for my name. Okay, so let's switch it up then. So
Jack Edwards. Sorry, Jack. I know Jack will listen. Love you, Jack.
Keep coming back to it. Toughest player and team in your playing career that you've came up against. Obviously, we always have that one team that we struggle against and stuff, don't we? So let's go player and team.
Well, again, when I was the first pre-season game at the first pre-season I was at Leamington, it was actually Coventry's first team we played.
Oh, okay.
So I got on for about 20 minutes and I played against the likes of Ben Sheaf, Hamer, Callum O'Hare.
Ooh.
So there were some big names that day. But again, I wouldn't really say I played against them. So again, I'll go non-league, someone that I kind of played twice in a season. Team, who would I say team? I think Kidderminster was a tough game. We played Kidderminster. We played Scunthorpe at home, but we held our own. South Shields away, we got bopped, to be fair. And I don't know who the right back's name was, but he was up and down. He was unbelievable.
For South Shields, yeah.
For South Shields, yeah. But again, it's hard to say a player because it's not one of them, especially for Leamington Sphinx, because we've played so, like, we've obviously won leagues and we've never really been dominated by teams, and because of the way both teams play, we're hard working teams. There's never been one player that's absolutely took the mick out of us. Not that I can remember anyway. So
it's a great answer.
Who was your role model, or who is your role model?
As in footballing?
Yeah, football, yeah.
I liked Scholesy.
Wow.
What a player.
Yeah.
And I loved Ronaldo at United. First time around. He made me love football, man, when he was unstoppable. But then Messi, he was just obviously a small player like myself looking at Messi and what he does, not because he's not like skillful, but how he uses his body with his body fates and that, something you try and replicate.
Fair play.
Favourite memory to date in football?
Probably have to be the playoff final or my debut.
Yeah,
one of my debuts.
Yeah, nice.
Cool.
What's your pre-match meal?
Omelette and beans. I try and have omelette and beans. Yeah.
Is it changed as you've gone up the leagues, Cally?
No, not really. Well,
Really?
a little bit. It's a little bit different when we're in a hotel, I'd say, because I feel a bit cheeky asking for an omelette.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll come when I'm a bit more experienced and I can say, right, I need an omelette.
Wants an omelette. Give him an omelette.
But yeah, if I'm at home, omelette and beans.
Cool.
Nice.
Paid by my mum.
Yeah.
I say I don't cook on match days, mum.
Shout out, Mum.
Superb.
Shout out, mum.
Away from football then, favourite TV show or programme that you're watching or that you've watched?
I know Max said Prison Break last week or whenever it was, but I'd have to agree. Prison Break.
Really?
Prison Break, definitely up there. Money Heist. I watched them two in lockdown and I just binged them because I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And so them two kind of stick with me as standing out. But the likes of... Have you ever watched like Still Game?
Still Game?
Yeah.
That rings a bell.
What's that?
It's rubbish. it's just like a Scottish comedy sketch, but like obviously my whole family's Scottish,
Right.
so like my dad's watched it, and like I just remember watching it a couple of times. I think that's fun. Like, that's like a comfort one, and then like the likes are Office.
Oh yeah.
The Office, like a
Which
comfort.
one though?
The US.
Yes.
Like I could watch that
Yes.
like on repeat. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I've got a couple comfort ones, and then like other ones that I've just enjoyed. But, yeah.
Superb.
I'm going to miss out for this one because we did ask him.
Yeah,
memorable
that's
goal,
fine.
but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think there's that many. I don't think.
Yeah, we're struggling to.
What about music? What music do you listen to before a game?
Oh, before like I like house music.
Yeah.
That's the type of vibe I go to
Yeah, nice.
before a game, especially. It gets you a bit more pumped up.
Were you the one with the on the speaker in the changing room?
I've never been on the speaker in the changing room.
You're not?
To be fair, nah.
Why? Too much pressure.
Nah. I would. I'd back myself, but I think I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm young and I've gone into change rooms and there's already been someone on it.
Yeah.
Like went into Sphinx and there was already lads on it. And then Dev was on it at Lem.
I bet
Dev's good, mate.
Nah, you know what? His wasn't that great.
Oh,
I'm gonna call Dev out. But Quainer went on it after, and Quain's was a lot better than Dev at Lem. Then at Shrewsbury, it's one of the centre mids, Gilly. So
Okay.
Nice.
If you could play alongside any footballer, past or present, who would it be?
Messi has to be.
Wow.
Straight up.
Yeah.
It just purely because you see him linking up with players anyway, but like then just he creates so much and he wins games for you, and he's more of as a striker. I'd prefer to play with him. Well, I've just called myself a striker. I said I didn't earlier, didn't I? But a goal scorer, I'd prefer to play with Messi over Ronaldo because he creates more for me. Whereas Ronaldo just wins it on his own, don't he? So I'd probably say Messi because I still want to score goals.
Yeah, fair play. That's not bad. Who would you play against? Who would you have?
What? If I could play alongside Thierry Henry, mate, all day.
Thierry Henry.
Yeah. Thierry Henry.
You an Arsenal fan?
No. He was just my favourite footballer growing up. But I mean, in my era, there was like Didier Drogba was at his prime. He was incredible. Carlos Tevez was fantastic.
Could have got your dummy out.
Yeah, we're getting rid of that, by the way.
Who's your club, Cally?
Coventry Celtic.
Coventry Celtic.
Yeah. So,
Mate, Celtic had some unbelievable players back in the day
yeah.
when I was younger.
Even Cov though.
Yeah?
Cov had some unbelievable players.
Yeah, you're going to say that, aren't you? Because you're a
I'm a
Cov
Cov
fan.
fan as well.
Who's your favourite Cov player?
Who's my favourite Cov player?
Whatever.
Ever.
Flipping that. He's put me on the spot there.
He has gone to the presenter here, mate.
Yeah, Max was doing that as well.
Yeah, but all these young lads are ever so confident.
Cov player. You know what? It's hard to. You know what? I did like. You mentioned Jordan Shipley. He was a very favourite of mine, Jordan Shipley, because I did a bit at Cov Academy. And Jordan Shipley was in the academy when I was there with Tom Bayliss.
Yeah.
And and then when I saw him go into the first team, I was a bit like, you know, and he's a Cov lad, and and stuff like that, which is nice to see. But even players like Kieran Westwood, I liked him in goal.
Yeah.
He was good. The old school was like Danny Ward and Danny Fox and that.
Yeah. Old school players, mate.
Old school players. David Bell.
Yeah.
Cole Baker even.
David Bell, what a name that is, by the way.
Kev Thornton.
Kev Thornton was great, mate.
Then when we signed Yakuba.
Yeah, played about 64 minutes, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
mate, Cov had some great players. Gary McSheffrey was an unbelievable player.
Yeah.
But even like, I know he wasn't great for Cov, but like Joe Cole.
Joe
Cole signed for Cov. Unbelievable.
Still plays now, by the way.
Joe Cole does?
Yeah, on a Sunday. For like this team on a Sunday, they video it, and he still plays.
What, in England?
Yeah.
Oh, that's ledge.
Yeah. They're playing an orange kit. I forgot what I think they're called, Sands FC. Or something like that.
I can't believe I've just not mentioned James Maddison.
Madders. I like Madders as well, because I was... My game's a little bit similar to Madders, and when I went on trial at Cov... Rich Stevens, the academy coach, he was like, "Oh, you're like a mini Madders." And then I thought I was going to get signed. He didn't sign me, but Madders, yeah, he's another one I kind of base my game off as a number 10.
Seems like a really nice lad as well.
Yeah,
looks great at golf as well.
Yeah, he does look very good at golf.
Yeah, loves his golf.
You got to get into golf now.
Yeah, to be fair, I've got a lot more free time now, so I've been down the driving range.
Yeah, no.
Not great. Ask me again in 6 months.
Yeah. Fair play. Cally, thank you so much for your time, mate. Obviously, what an incredible journey from the non-league to now League One, and you know, you've shown people it can be done.
Yeah.
You know, that journey, that dream. You know, it's great to hear your non-league story with Leamington, Coventry Sphinx, and even like GMP, you know, those lower clubs. It's great for people to hear. Obviously, Shrewsbury fans can hear what journey you've had. Even Leamington fans can listen back and, you know, hear your journey, and Coventry Sphinx, and just that, you know, general listener, which is, I think, is going to find it really interesting.
There's a big future. There's a big future for this kid. I can see it 1,000,000%.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you for having me on. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, and we'll be getting down to Shrewsbury game.
Yes, absolutely, 1,000,000%.
We'll have to get down, but yeah, no, thank you very much, mate.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
You ready, Rich?